don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you!
Hello there everyone, Tom here again, and today we have the privilege of looking at the Next Generation Enterprise D Hero Collector Part 2 excuse me, of their build for the Enterprise. And we're going to begin this build with this little thing right here. And this is a binder that you get to keep all your crap in. Excuse me, there's something in the air here. Let's see here. So, I've kind of glanced at these directions. They're not the clearest because you got stuff in the way. But from what I can tell, the very first thing you do is pull this off. Okay? Hopefully that was correct. If it wasn't, I may have just broke it. We're going to have to keep these somewhere. We'll figure that out. But if I'm going to break it, I might as well break it all the way, right? So, looking at the directions, it seems to show that you pull them off. Then you pull these off and you pin them in as you get books. So, what I think that means is we take this one and we open it up to where the staple is, right here. And we'll put it in here at the very first one, and we'll take one of these right here and just remove it like this. And I think it should just slot right in this hole here. I imagine this will be easier if we get that out of the way. I don't know if there's a proper, oh, I bet it actually, hang on a second. Let's see if I can get this thing out. I'm betting this thing right here has a notch at the bottom. I'm betting it comes in and notches in right here and locks it into place like that. That would actually make sense. So let's see how well this works here. Alright, so there's one, and we'll take the opposite one for the top, like this. We'll flip this around, and we'll put it in up here at the top. We'll see how well this works. And if this works the way I think it should, then this is actually a pretty decent way of making this, at least theoretically. There we go. Alright. Fold this over, and yeah, that should hold everything we need. And this is just your standard big binder. It's 12 inches from the bottom to the top. Across is 9 inches, and the depth of it is about 3. So yeah, that's kind of neat. Alright, so that's where we start with. I'll have to keep these somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where I'll keep them, but I will keep them somewhere. So let's move on into the build. So there are apparently 3 stages that we're going to go through here. We're going to start with stage 3, move on to stage 4, and go to stage 5. And it looks like we're going to be dealing with some electronics here. Does it require batteries yet? It's got a battery box. I don't know, I'll have to take a look at it. It'll be a little bit... Alright. So we're going to start with stage 3 first, so we'll get right into that now. Alright, so I've got the parts laid out, and I've noticed something immediately. The directions call for BM screws, and the only ones I have are BP screws. And I've got this right here, but it's not designated for this. In fact, the first thing we do deals with this. We take this out. We take the nut here. Do I have a pair of tweezers somewhere? I do. Okay. So, if any of you are curious about these tweezers from Toy Hacks, these tweezers, crud, are very, very sharp. My wife calls them surgical tweezers. I don't know. I just do what I'm told. So, we take this, we put it right in here into this section. Hopefully it'll go in. It will. It's just being persnickety. And it should look something like this when you get it done. And then we take this piece right here, and it's got a notch in it. If you can see the notch right there, and it just comes in and sets over top right here. And I'm gonna move these out of the way a little bit so I can work. And it supposedly just sits right over top of it. Now is when we're supposed to take our BM screws and install them here. So I may be doing something incredibly horribly wrong, but again, I don't have BP screws, or BM screws. So I'm going to take two of these BP screws, and hopefully they will line up properly and secure well enough. They seem to be doing just fine. All of these pieces so far are plastic, so there's no need to install oil or anything on them. Okay. I imagine this cover is just to prevent the the nut from coming loose. I could be wrong, but I doubt that I am. Alright, the next thing it shows, we need to insert the batteries. And it takes AAA's. I was correct in the fact that I needed batteries. So they go in just like this. Positive down, positive up, and positive up. It is surprising to me that they're like that, but okay, it works. Next thing we do is we take our battery cover and we bring it in, and there are notches here for this to clip into, so it just goes in like this, theoretically. There's one. Alright, so this thing has a clip here on it. Oh, don't be that way. Get in there. So I can conclude from this that it's going to be difficult to keep the batteries in. Okay. And then we bring in the other screw here, and we get it started just like this. That will hold your batteries in place. No need to kill it when you tighten it down, just tighten it down enough to get it to do what you want. And here's the battery pack. That's it. Now we set this aside and we turn to these two pieces right here, and they are just going to come together apparently to make this type of arrangement. Now we take a BP screw. It calls specifically for the BP. Put it in here, and we just tighten that down enough to where it won't move. Alright, and that's another piece done. Now we bring in this piece right here, and it shows us taking this piece and putting it in here, and apparently this is the outer part of it, so it'll actually set like this with the bigger part at the top when it's all done. This has screws in it, so we're going to need to get the screws started first, would be my guess. And again, all we have are the BPs, so let's get that one started in there. Well, it would help if I put it in the right spot. Okay, there's one. I see, it's gonna be one of those things. Alright, well that's not a horrible thing. What I'll do is I'll push it through here like this. I'll take my part here, kind of line it up a little bit. Alright, and we'll twist him a little bit. There we go. See, that wasn't so hard. Now, let's try and do this again. Over here for this one. Got it in one there. Alright, so I'm not tightening these horribly tight because we're going into plastic and I really don't want to strip the plastic. So, yeah. The next thing we do is we turn this thing over, and this thing gets connected right here. And again, we're using the BP screws. I would have thought that fit better, but perhaps I'm overthinking it. And it's just a matter of getting it in here and tightening it down. On both sides. Just like that. And again, I'm not ratcheting them down, I'm just making them snug to the touch. That's what we've got so far. Let me flip the page here so I can see what we need to do next. Alright. Now it looks like we're coming to some electronics. And it's got these things separated. Here's the thing that's going to plug into the power. So pull these out. Separate these somewhat. Now the directions show the yellow and green going right here, and the red and black one going right here. So since we're going to be putting in some LEDs, I am going to follow Wayne's example and put just a little bit of super glue on it, just so it'll hold it in place. Just a little bit. Enough to ensure the fact that it doesn't move on us. Apparently I got bad super glue. Mine doesn't want to stay. Okay. And then we take one of these right here, and again, using a BP screw, we're going to secure the LED to it. And it comes in at the top and just sits on it. So this is going to come in here, sit on top of it, and we just I broke it. That's not good. I see that as a manufacturing issue. Yep. Now I've got to let that sit so that it will dry, so it'll hold in place. So I'm going to pause my video right here and I'll bring it back once we get once I give it 20-30 minutes to dry. Alright, so it's been about an hour since I put on the glue. I'm hoping it'll stay there. Just to be safe, I'm going to add just a little bit of electrical tape to it. I don't necessarily know if I need this or not, but I would rather take a moment to secure this in this manner just to help, if nothing else. So, oh crud, I forgot to put on the cap to the glue. Well, here's hoping I didn't destroy it. Super glue's not destroyed. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add a little bit more here to this for this side. Shoot. And hope that it doesn't cause for trouble. Put that one in there. Get in there now. There we go. Alright, now see, that time it took just fine. And we're going to take ourselves the cover and another BP screw here. And we're going to hopefully get this one in place without cracking it. Hopefully. So for those of you who are curious, I did not put a lot of pressure on this. It just broke on its own. So that's just part of it, I guess. Alright, the next thing it shows us doing is testing the lighting. So for this, we're supposed to get our control board, and there are, let me see if I can get this up here where you all can see it. There are designations on it, A, C, D, E. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So according to this, we hook our battery pack into F, which is right here. We just plug this in like that. And then we take the lights and we plug them into D, which is right here. don't have it in all the way. Maybe I've done some. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright. So, there's apparently something I did not know about our little battery pack here. And I was kind of curious about it when I saw it. And that would be this little flap right here. Apparently, it needs to be bent a little bit. Now, when we install this right here, this will come in. Everything should work properly at that point. Why are they not on? There we go. I just had to bend it in the right spot to get it to do what it was supposed to do. Okay. Alright. And here is what this looks like. Tell you what, I'll shut off two of our lights here. This is what that looks like. And that's very nice. Very nice. Okay. Now we disconnect our light here. Should be able to just pull it right out. Ooh, I'm not liking that at all. Alright, that is out. And the next thing we're supposed to do is check the section that we did before, so I'll have to go get that. Hey, bear with me. Alright, so next we bring in our piece that we made here, and apparently all these lights plug in as well. So, let's see what we got here. This is C. Well, it doesn't really show me exactly where to plug these things in at. So I guess it's just a matter of finding one that fits it, maybe. Here's hoping. Okay, that one's in. That one's in. Well, lightly in, let's say. Enough to where it'll stay. And here we have this one. Alright. And here is what we have all lit up so far. I will once again turn off my lights. Oh, I'm sorry. So that we can appropriately see the lighting. Not bad. Kind of like that. It's good to see that everything lights up. Although I'm kind of surprised there's no lighting back here. I would have thought there would have been something back here on the back. Did I miss something? I don't know. I may have to take a look. There's a light there, but it's not lit up. Alright, so the yellow and black one here is not lit up. Let me just check. There we go. Oh, now it's lit up. Okay. So, yeah, now it's all good. Alright, let's move on to the next step. Alright, so for stage 4, we're going to be using this piece right here and these for the escape pods. And we're going to be apparently installing some of these windows, etc. And I'm not entirely 100% sure. I think this is the one that we use. And we have some examples of how it's supposed to be. So I tell you what, I'm going to take some of these off and I'm going to put them in order of the way that they go in. I'm going to do that off camera. I'm just going to use my handy dandy clippers to just clip them from the sprue, and we will I'll show what I'm going to do with them, putting them in. I'll install some of them for you is what I'm getting ready to do. Okay, so I have this laid out here, as you can see, and it's going to go into this section, and I've based this pattern directly upon what the directions show. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do one, maybe two at the most, just to show you how they're done, and the escape pods just go in right like this. Now I have to tell you, I think I have that upside down. No, that's right. That's the way the picture shows, is this part pointing towards the rest of the lights. I was watching World of Wayne, and you know that if you watched my first video, then you know that it was his initial video that got me into this build in the first place. If you've watched his, then he did an update on his where he found some stickers that complemented and actually went over the escape pods, and they made them look so much better. Now, as a general rule, I try to maintain, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm trying to do it the way that it was supposed to do. However, if any of you have watched my Transformers reviews, then you know that several of my Transformer reviews deal with toy hack sticker sets. So I might, there's a very, very distinct possibility, even though I said I wasn't going to alter this, I was just going to kind of, you know, do it the way that the directions showed it and how they had it. I hate to say it, I am probably going to go ahead and invest in some of those. Just because I liked the look of it. I think it will enhance the overall model. And I don't know, I looked at it and I saw those and I went, hey, you know, I'm going to have to check into them. I don't know how much they are. I do know there were a couple of options. So, yeah, we'll deal with that as we go. But you all can see just how easy it is to install these windows here, the ones that are blacked out and the ones that aren't. The biggest issue I'm having is using my tweezers appropriately. Of course, that has to do with my motor skills are not probably the same as yours if you're watching this. I've had medical issues, and I don't have the dexterity that I once had, and as a result, sometimes things just don't work the way that they're supposed to. Again, those of you who have watched my channel have watched me struggle occasionally with doing some of this basic stuff, and it's all because I can't grip the way that I used to. Well, I'm not going to get into too much detail. There was a medical issue I had, and it's all good. But even having said that, it doesn't. Things just don't work the way that they were supposed to, the way they were designed to. To use a Transformers plastic reference, I've got stress marks in certain spots. So I'm actually kind of curious. Fred, I'm primarily a Transformer reviewer, and I know some of you who are watching this might also have watched my channel just to get my take on Transformers and whatnot. And I'm wondering, how many of you all are actually watching this video? How many of you are watching me build this thing? I think it'd be neat to find out. So, tell you what, I'm going to pause it right here, and I'm going to just go ahead and finish this up, and we'll pick it up here in a moment. Alright, so here's what this thing looks like with all the windows in it. I'm being very careful not to drop it. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get one of these pieces right here, and I don't know if it matters which one we get or not. I think this is a light diffusing thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is a light diffusing thing. And it shows that we put in 2 of these, 040I and 04I and 04J. These are all labeled as B. So I don't know if that's going to help me or not. But what it does show is a red wire and a yellow and a black wire. So we're going to carefully move this out of the way. And I imagine we're going to, since all 3 of these are apparently the same, I'm just going to pick one randomly. Pull this apart a bit, maybe a bit more. And we're going to need to put these in here, and it shows the red on this side and the yellow and black on that one. I don't know if it matters. It might not, don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to put a little bit more glue in here, as Wayne would say, just enough to help hold it, not enough to cause a problem. Okay, so we're going to put this one in right here, and it holds it just fine. I think there's a threshold for this glue. You have to have just enough. If you don't, it won't help you. And this is, I'm just using some standard super glue. Okay, bring this one in, kind of lock it into place there, and it fits right in that socket like it's supposed to. So that's good. Now, the next step that we have is screws, and we need some BP screws. In this kit we have the DM screws. I hope that wasn't the ones we needed from the other pack. Well, if it was, it was. And we've got, if that's the case, then that means that they mispackaged this. I don't know, we'll see. But we're dealing with BP screws right now. We've got a few of them. So what we have to do is we have to take this and just kind of goes in there just like that. Now we put in the BP screws right here. Magnetizing this screwdriver was one of the best things I've done, I believe, so far. I'm not putting these in very heavily. I'm just kind of putting them here for now to help hold. We have to be kind of careful when we're going into this type of plastic. Oh, crud. That was all me. Especially as I cracked that other one. Now, I have to turn the page on our directions. Alright. And it looks like, if I'm reading the directions correctly, we have to do the very same thing we did. Oh, that's not good. Here to that one. There we go, snapped in place. Alright. So yeah, I really think I may get those things that fix these. I really might. Anyway, as I was saying, we have to do the same thing that we did to this one. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just do that, because it's the very same process that we're working on with that. I'm going to cut out the pieces and the shuttle pods and the escape pods, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here both of these are completed, and they're both the same thing. They had the very same way of hooking up together. So I'm going to take a moment. No, I'm not. Never mind. We'll move on to the next piece. And we'll set these aside. And let's see here. It seems that the next piece that we're going to work on is this one. And it appears that we need to... Alright. Towards the end of this, what we're going to do here is, if it looks... Yeah. Apparently we're going to install one of these over here like this, so that it can do its thing. Apparently this is going to go maybe like this. I don't know. I've got to look at it to figure out exactly where... Oh, no. Maybe it's this other one. Maybe it... Okay, so this is the one that goes. It just fits right in. So it wants us to put in our escape pods right here first. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to test everything to see. This thing will be connected with DM screws because this is metal. So I'll put a little bit of oil in it, and it'll get 2 screws, one here, one here. I'm going to go ahead and do that and put these in, and we'll come back and we'll test the lighting. So they light up just fine. They look very nice, actually. Let's move on to the next step. So in stage 5, we have to take these 4 pieces here and basically put them on this piece. And it doesn't look horribly difficult. We have 2 different types of screws. We have EM and BM. So to start with, we're going to start with this piece right here on here with EM screws. Alright, let me just get these out here. I thought we were supposed to get something to keep the screws in. Maybe that's in a later one, I don't know, but honestly I've got enough now that I would welcome that. So this should just slip on like that. right there, and then it should just be a matter of getting the screws in place. Looks like we're going to put 4, and I'm using a little bit of my liquid silicone to ensure the fact that they go in smoothly, metal to metal. And I'm not, ratcheting them down. I'm just hooking them into the die cast in an appropriate way. At least I think it's appropriate. They go in, they don't argue. Just like that. Let's see. Yeah, because I'm starting to get more of these screws than what I really think I'm supposed to have. And it would be nice to be able to have something to, put the spares in case I lose one, strip one, something along those lines. Maybe we'll get that here in the next set. Alright, so that is now attached. The next one it shows is this one right here, and it comes in and attaches right here with 2 BM screws. And again, we're going into metal, so just a drop or so, just a slight little dollop of that liquid silicone that I use. For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, I bought that because I was concerned about the joints on my constructor. There was a, pardon me, one of the arm bots kept breaking because it was too tight. So I went in and I loosened, if you watch my video on it, gosh, this is years ago, I loosened the joint just a tinch, and I put some liquid silicone in it, and I've never had any problems with my constructor. I don't know if that was something anybody else could do. I don't promise that will work for you, but it sure enough worked for me. I didn't want to use oil. I wanted to use the silicone because it wasn't going to affect the transformer. It was only going to make sure the joint was a little bit lubricated, which is what I was hoping for. Alright. If I need to put any more in this, I'm probably going to end up having to put another dollop of silicone. Alright, now I have to turn the page on my directions. And apparently that was all there was in that one? Oh, no. The very first thing it showed was putting this in. I missed it. I accept when I make a mistake. These go in with BM screws. And it's cut for it, so this is going into metal. So, once again, a small dollop of oil here, or I'm sorry, of silicone, just to help it get started and to help it go in. There we go. There's that. And this should, I hope, be the last one. I think I've got just enough silicone left to do this last screw without having to get some more. I don't remember what I paid for that. Shoot, I think it was less than $5. Man, if I remember right. And I have used it for years. So they don't support this channel or promote me in any way. I'm just telling you what I'm using, which, I think is important. And this is, that did not get secured. That's why we check it, right? Sure enough thought I had it. There we go. Now it's nice and solid. This is what it looks like all completed. with the shuttle bay. Okay, so let's set that aside for now. And the next step is actually stage 6, and we're going to be assembling part of the frame here. So we get a piece of the metal frame. These are some type of support. Come out. Good night. Alright. And we get some more BM screws. Alright. So, the way this section works, we flip it over like this according to the directions, and we have two pieces here. We have a smaller piece and a larger piece. And all of this is die cast, painted die cast. So what we do is, we're going to flip it over, turn this around like this, and we're going to put in 2 BM screws into these holes here. I've already taken a moment off screen to get myself a little bit more silicone, and it just goes in just like this. You can really feel it when it clips into place. Alright. Next we take this piece and we're going to do the same thing. It goes in right here, if I'm looking at it correctly. Now the problem here is that this piece is significantly smaller than this piece. It won't be a problem necessarily, except when I'm initially trying to get my screw started here. There we go. So what I did was I just kind of lifted up on it a little bit at the bottom, just enough to get the threads started, and now as you can see it's relatively good. Okay. Alright. Now, both of those are in. This one could stand to be a little tighter. We never tighten it all the way until we're sure that's where it needs to be. Alright. Both of these survived the shake test. So I'm going to turn the page here. And that appears to be the entirety of the directions. Now, I will tell you, I had a piece that I was kind of surprised that wasn't I wasn't told to put on yet, and I just missed it. Okay, so when we come to this piece right here, there is a little sticker that's going to go right here. And I call it a sticker because it's got, this feels like some kind of metal, and it's got some kind of adhesive here. So I'm going to take the adhesive off. Okay. And we are going to put this in right here, press it down real well, and that's what that looks like. Alright, now we've done quite a bit on this build so far. We've got a long way to go yet, but we're getting it started. We're getting it where it needs to be. So, this is Tom. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next review or build video, whichever one comes first.
Thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
So, like, I'm getting extra money because Tom wrote a book and he wants you all to buy it. And I get, contract money for this. So, the name of the book is The Djinn Chronicles Volume 1 Growth. It's part 1 of a trilogy. It's available on Amazon. Go read it. It's like only $5. Go read it. Buy it. And junk. I'm out of here.
It's just so hard, Doctor. After 3 million years, I suppose it's normal. But
Yes, go on.
the tailpipe emissions, they've become so bad, he's not allowed to transform in the house.
This is a pretty common issue with bots in their mid-3 millions. Fortunately, there is a remedy.
What is it, Doctor? I'll pay any price.
Why, Vitaminogen.
Is your partner complaining about your emissions? Do you backfire with no warning? Do your friends avoid you with stupid excuses you know are fake? Then try Vitamin John today. Try our 3-week starter pack, guaranteed to rid you of your emission problems or your money back. What do you have to lose except your stinky emissions?
It's amazing, Doctor. He's like a young bot of 2 million. And we owe it all to Vitaminogen. Yippee!
Wow.
Vitamin John, operators are standing by. Go now!